Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wealth Reset Challenge. Welcome, replay viewers. If you are live with me right now, I want you to drop a crown. Why is this struggling to stream to Facebook? 1 second, because technology won't just work the way that I want it to. Let's see if I can get this going. Just give me 1 moment. I want to see if I am live on my page, if it is even worth it to do this rigmarole, or if I'm just not even going to worry about going live on my page and profile, because let's see. Anyways, drop a crown if you're live with me. If you are on replay, it's hashtag after party. Actually, if you're live with me, it's hashtag live party. If you're on replay, it's hashtag after party. Yes, indeedy. Okay, so the main place that I'm going to be checking comments and things like that is in the Facebook group. Well, actually, I should be able to see all the comments everywhere. Okay, so just say hi, say what's up. I want to know that you're here. Like I said, hashtag live party. After party. Okay, there's the comments. There we are. Hi, Angie. Oh, you're on YouTube. Okay. Cool. Just making sure that technology is doing what it needs to do. I don't even know what that's all about. Okay. Hopefully tomorrow is less technological, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Plus, Facebook's just barely notifying everybody that I'm on live, so it'll probably take a couple minutes to get things going, get things moving. Hopefully my text message went out. Technology's been really off today. But let me just go ahead and get started. Even though I'm not like looking directly at you and all that, I'm going to be talking to you while I'm making sure things are set up. I am so grateful that you're here. I always believe that the universe brings the people to me, into the space, to everything that is meant to be, and so I know that because you're here, you're meant to be here, whether you're live or on replay. Here's the thing though. What is so important about this is that you honor this time. And what I mean by that is the information that you are going to get in this challenge this week, you would normally have had to pay at least $1,000 for. So just because this is a free challenge doesn't mean you show up and you treat it like it was free, that you're all flippant about it, and that you're here when you're here and you're not when you're not. Oh, my life's busy. I've got this and I've got that. Here's the thing. If you really want to create this energy of connection with yourself, with your soul, with your business, and have that alignment, you're going to show up each day. You're going to play full out, right? Leave it all out on the field. You're going to show the fuck up for yourself. And if you're in just that bullshit, like, oh, I'm just coming for, information, or I just want to see what she's doing, or I just want to, you're not in the right place. This isn't an energy for you to be passive and disengaged from. This is an energy for you to be active and all in. And the reason why that is because that's the whole point of why we're doing why I'm doing what I'm doing here, is to give you what it is that you need. Okay. I am looking at comments on 3 different screens. So if you comment and I don't respond to you, thank you for being patient. I just wanted to be able to stream this to my Facebook page, into the group, into YouTube, just to get as much out to everyone. So hello, Joanne and Jessica. Yay! We're going to be working hard for comments inside of the Facebook group. So make sure that you drop hashtag live party or a crown if you're here live, hashtag after party if you're not. Stay the whole time. Each day will be roughly 90 minutes. Some days might be a little bit longer. But again, this is for you. Okay. Just putting that out there. I could really make this short and powerful, and you will think that it was the most amazing thing, even though it was bullshit. But I don't do that. Like, I show up and give you what you need. So I'm going to play all out. I'm going to be here. I'm going to give you the information, and I'm looking forward to you doing the same for yourself. Remember, this isn't for me. If you miss a day, don't send me a message apologizing. Go look your ass in the mirror in the face and say, I'm sorry for not showing up for you. I'm sorry for constantly putting you at the bottom of the list. I'm sorry for neglecting you, abandoning you, treating you like you're invisible. You owe that apology to yourself. You don't owe it to me ever. You don't owe it to me because I'm here. I'm doing the damn thing. I'm doing, what I'm meant to be doing. And the people who want it will be here. So this wealth reset challenge, I am so excited for because we have so much we're covering. Today is the audit. We're really going to be diving into this. If you don't have a notebook, I highly recommend that you do. This is like note-taking, interactive. You're going to be in the chat interacting. You're going to be taking notes from this, hopefully, and really embodying this. This isn't something that you're here to passively listen to. That's what podcasts are for. Audio, you can cook and clean and do all that shit while you're listening. That's not what this is. And pretty much anytime you see me live, that's not what it's for. Let me make this bigger so I could see the comments a little bit easier here. I'm just still finagling, attempting to get things working for my comments. We'll hope that they'll come in and be good. Hey, Tamar, beautiful. Oh, comments are at the bottom. Okay, I'm like all over the place. Woot! Okay. So over the next 4 days, we are going to audit your wealth foundation. We're going to uncover why it keeps cracking. And then you're going to learn how to rebuild it and integrate it all into your wealth reset blueprint. So today, like I said, is day number 1 of the wealth reset challenge. This is where we identify where your foundation is cracked. And it all comes down to your rising versus your sun sign. And listen, most badass businesswomen, you guys are building from your mask, which is the shadow side of your rising sign, instead of your truth. Actually, your shadow sign is not just, rephrase. Your shadow is not just the mask of your rising sign or the shadow of your, rewind. Your mask is not just the shadow of your rising sign. It's the shadow of your sun sign as well. So both of those become your mask. And you want to be building from your truth and your light, which is the light of your rising sign and the light of your sun sign. Every planetary energy archetype, which is your astrological signs, all of it has a shadow, okay? And the shadow is the wounds and the areas that are calling you forward to heal. Now it's up to you whether or not you want to do that work, right? If you don't do the work, Saturn will keep coming around demanding that you do. Your wounds will get deeper and more infected, quote unquote. Your quality of life will plummet, and you will feel like you're in this spiral or this cyclone or this tornado of shit. And you'll think that this is just what you're here for. This is just the life you're, meant to live. And when it rains, whatever the fuck it is, it pours, and all the bullshit that you say, waiting for the other shooter, all the bullshit. And I call it bullshit because it is bullshit, and it's belief systems, right? Everything that you want is here for you now. It's just about shifting into that and healing through the shadows that keep popping up and taking over your RAS, your reticular activating system, right? That's really what it boils down to. We talk about this a lot in my world, where even if you are working on your shadows, when your brain goes silent and nothing is filling that space, whatever your predominant energy is, your RAS will fill that with something. And so, hey, Julie, welcome, girlfriend. So if your predominant energy is on negative and lack and wanting more and the this and the that and not good enough and blah, 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 then when your mind falls silent, your shadow / wounds are going to come up and say, remember that he did this, he said that, she did this, she said that. Remember just a short time ago how bad, of everything you were going through, and da-da-da, even if you weren't thinking about that. And Mel Robbins talks about when your reticular activating system kicks up and it brings this bullshit to the table and it comes out of nowhere. You look at it and you say, I wasn't thinking about that. That's not what I was thinking about. That's not what was on my mind. And you get it in check. And the reason why you want to get that in check is because if you allow it to run, it's going to rule your actions, your thoughts, and create right in front of you whatever you are attached to. This making sense? Shout out yes in the comments if it is. I'd love everybody who's live to shout out yes. The more that you comment, the more that you interact, the more that you engage, the more you tell Facebook that this training, this video, this live is relevant. The more disengaged you are, the more you don't comment, then it's not really helping everybody else. So I always say, comment as much as you possibly can, engage as much as you possibly can. Tell me what comes to your mind, because you are paying this forward into people's news feeds so that they can get the help and the information as well. Right? Because we are all one. We are all part of everything. We are all doing this together. So the more you comment, the more you interact, the more you're going to get out of it, but the more that it helps other people. So you will discover what that crack is today. You will get the information. It will make sense. I want to let you know a few housekeeping things besides commenting, right? One is you have until the end of the day on Sunday, January 18th, to complete all the tasks and homework and everything that's going on in the group for points. If you do not have it completed by the end of the day of January 18th, it's not for nothing. Still do the work, still do the homework, still do the efforts, all of those things, because that is why you are fucking here, okay? It's not a loss if you miss the points. No reason to act all human about it and make it a big deal. You have the choice right now to put the time, energy, and effort into your calendar for you to show up for yourself. So if you don't, you only have you to blame, right? You made different choices. Don't come to Monday and go, oh, I thought we had more time and da-da-da-da. You have all the time in the world. However, like, again, Mel Robbins says, however much time you give something, it will expand to take up that space, right? I've already said so many fucking things that you should have written down, or hopefully you connected to. I'm doing my best to remove should have, would have, must do, have to, pressure, hustle, force. So you're going to hear me repeating a lot of things. I'll say should do, and then I'll go, and then rephrase. Or I'll say must or have and go, or actually I'll say the word rephrase. Sometimes I say the word rephrase. Sometimes I make a noise. I'm working very hard on shifting my vocabulary from control, form, and external control to negative phrasing, and all of those sorts of things, which is a lot of work. I speak more words than I normally would if this was already cleared and, reset in my mind. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of brain power, and I'm doing it for me. So if you notice me repeating myself, it's because the first time I said it with control, form, or negativity. And the second time I said it was the rephrase, the rewrite. Sometimes I'll stop in mid-sentence because my brain is thinking about how I want to actually verbalize it for power and creation and, living in alignment with the law of attraction. So take note that I'm doing that. The reason why I'm doing that is for a better life, a better energy, better relationships. So if you want those things, do the same thing for yourself. The replay will be up for a while. Until Facebook deletes it. I would highly recommend, though, that you show up live every single day, because that's how you're going to get the most out of this and have the highest level of transformation. The more you're commenting, the more you're interacting. I'm paying attention to these comments, and I can engage with you and help you along the way. And it's highly suggested that anything that I do, that I offer for free, that you sign up for it and go all in and play all out. Because generally anything that I do for free, someone else is charging thousands of dollars for. Why? Because they can. Why? Because they know people will pay for it. Why don't I? Because this is who I am. This is the core of who the fuck I am. I'm always about value added is worth more than the price paid, because I know when you pay me that the level of that result is at levels that nothing I do for free even touches, right? So the power of it is free is your foundation, paid is your transformation. Okay. And you will always have transformation in the foundation, but it generally doesn't last, right? The lasting change happens when you're in the container that the change is facilitated in, that you are supported in, that the energy is surrounded around you through. Okay. So yeah, Crystal says you've been saying that for years. Yeah. Value added is worth more than the price paid is my motto in business, period. Have I gotten away from it plenty of times? Yes. Has it fucked up my money, my success, my energy, my alignment, my connection? Yes. So everybody in the world that says, oh, you shouldn't be doing that for free, you should pay for it, they can go fuck themselves, right? I know what my business alignment looks like and feels like, right? Soul Wealth Blueprint. I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like. I know how it makes me feel. My soul money roadmap calls that you're going to hear about later on in today and each day, those are 90 minutes that some coaches, a lot of coaches have programs that are 3 and 6 months that you pay between $5,000 and $10,000 for. that you get in that 90-minute session. They'll stretch out a fucking program for 3, 6, 12 months just to help you curate your business idea, connect to that business idea, figure out how to run that business idea so that you can make money. And in 90 minutes, the organization of that, the power of that, the foundation of that is set on that call for free. That will change everything for you. So if I haven't sold you at this point to fucking show the fuck up for yourself and take action and sign up and do the things, again, this isn't the place for you. My world is a place of action and sovereignty and alchemy, right? All three of those things, like leading yourself and transmuting your pain to power, your journey to money, your journey to help, and living in that Mars. I say living, I'll say that loosely, living in that Mars energy of action, right? So I hope I've inspired you and you're ready to fucking go, because now we're getting ready to dive in. So we're going to start with your rising sign, which is also known as your ascendant. If I have taught you anything about rising signs, especially those of you guys that are in the Soul Wealth Blueprint, I have something on my tooth and it's bugging the shit out of me. Hold on. I don't even know what it is. Probably a dog hair. I haven't even eaten today, so it can't be food. What is that? Okay. Anyways, hopefully I don't have to stop so I can brush my teeth, because all right, I think whatever the fuck it was, it's gone. Anyways, if I've taught you about rising sign before, keep in mind that your rising sign has a lot of different facets to it, right? So it's how you are perceived in the world in everyday life. Your rising is your outward personality. Okay. It's also your outward business personality. It's the front door of your business. It's the front door of your personality. It's the front door of your quote unquote soul. And it's the front door of your life. Right. So, they always say that like eyes are the windows to the soul, but your personality is almost before the eye view. Right. So that's a layer that will help make sense. There's always the light and the shadow / wound side of each sign, each planet, each energy. Why? Because it's not necessarily the good and the bad, because there is no bad really in the world, right? Bad is subjective to the human processing their definition of what is good and what is bad. But when something is on its own, it just is until someone gives it a definition. So you get to choose if this circumstance or this shadow or this journey or part of this journey that you're on, is it good or is it growing? I don't know. Is it growing to good, or is it good in itself? Did you pour the energy into it for it to feel good? And if it's growing, are you choosing to feel into that growth of what that's actually giving to you? Or are you complaining about the breakup, the death, the wars, the fight, the abuse, the trauma, the demons, the burdens, the way people act, the way they show up, the way they do? Okay, let me give you an example. For those of you guys that have been in my world for a long time, and at this rate, those of you that are live with me, actually, let me pause. I want everybody to put in the chat, is it good or is it growth? Put that in there. Is it good or is it growth? It's not good or bad. Okay. Just because there's the light and the shadow isn't bad. My whole fucking life is alchemy, transmuting the shadow, the wounds, into transformation and growth. My whole life is that. So if you're defining something as good or bad, you might look at that and say, man, your life has been bad. Your life has been hard. Your life has been horrible. My story, a lot of my story is on my podcast. If you're not a subscriber to my podcast, woohoo, you're missing out. Soulfirepodcast.com. If you're not a subscriber, I highly suggest that you do subscribe, because what happens in the Soulfire podcast doesn't happen anywhere else in my world. The way that I show up there, the way that I connect with myself there, the way that it feels inside of me there, there's just nothing like it anywhere. Okay. So soulfirepodcast.com, that is in the chat. I talk about it in every single one of my, challenges. I will talk about it every day. Yes. Tomorrow, exactly. Is it good or is it growth? Everybody put growth, right? Is it good or growth? It's good or growth, not good or bad. That's the whole point. Start asking yourself, is this good or is it growth? By the way, yeah, let's do that. Thank you, Joanne. Let's keep the comments going. Let's actually skyrocket the comments, because at this point, we would have had, probably about 75. So if you're subscribed to the podcast, I want you to write subscribed in the comments. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, I want you to write will subscribe, right? So if you're subscribed, it's subscribed. And if you're not subscribed to the podcast, write will subscribed. Anna, hey girlfriend, welcome in. Okay, so we're going to be going into your rising sign deeper. Now, why it's called the rising sign is because your rising sign is the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the exact moment you were born. This is why when you're doing birth chart information, it asks for the time. It's the first impression that you give. It's how you approach the world. Okay. And in its shadow, it's the mask that you wear when you meet someone or when you step into the room, or it's the light that you allow people to see, connect with, and shine when you meet someone or step into a room. It just depends on how you are working with your rising or abandoning the growth that the rising is bringing to you. So think of it like your business persona in business. It's how you show up in your business. It's how you market yourself. It's how you approach the strategy. Okay. So I want to take a second and let you know that there's two main apps that we use here in all the soul astrology work that I do. Okay. So the first app is the Horos app. It's literally spelled Horos. Okay. If you don't have it downloaded, this is a place where you're going to learn a lot about yourself and the people in your quality world by reading and studying. It'll help you get familiar with the different parts of the birth chart. It'll help you get familiar with your blueprint. Okay. Now, deeper dive and connecting it in a way that makes so much sense and really just gets you set up for what's coming, how it works, how it impacts, and what you can do to really alchemize what it is that is coming with the planets and the transits and everything that's going on based on the birth chart is the Pattern app. Okay. So if you have the Pattern app, or excuse me, if you have Horos, I want you to type Horos in the comments. And if you don't, I want you to type will get Horos. If you have the Pattern app, I want you to write have the Pattern app. If you don't, we'll get the Pattern app. Why? Because we're pushing up the comments, one. And two, I want to put that in the back of your mind, your subconscious, so that when you're starting to wind down today, you go, oh, I want to download the Horos app. I want to download the Pattern app. Okay, so Horos is great for beginners, great for connecting. It's easier to understand and all of that when you're actually diving into the chart. The reason why I like the Pattern app, and everybody, I'm going to tell you right now, I highly recommend that you upgrade in the Pattern app, because you can listen to audios on your partners, your kids, anybody in your quality world, yourself. You listen to them over and over and over again. You listen to them over and over and over again. I personally never listen to anything in the Pattern app one time. I listen in the Pattern app over and over and over again. So I'll listen to my Venus and my rising and all of the things over and over and over. And then Daniel's and Graham's and my kids. And again, people in my quality world. Why? Because you're not, what's the word? Retaining. Holy fuck. That was hard for me to get that out. You're not retaining everything that you're listening to. So if you're having an off day, going in and listening to your audios for yourself is great. If you're having a disruption with your partner, going in and listening to their audios is great. Or your kids, or your mom, or your sister, or your friends. I always say in my world that what I'm teaching you is not about, what I'm teaching you is about creating this harmony in your life. I'm teaching you how to harmonize not only with yourself, but the people around you, including strangers. For example, this is what I was going to tell you a little while ago, and then I wanted to say some things, and so I'm going to come back to it. And that is, so I needed my I ran out of my anti-inflammatory, and I called my orthopedic, and I was like, hey, here's my message. I, ran out of my anti-inflammatory. I only have 3 refills and they're all done, right? And I had left this fucking message. Hey, I need this, or not. I need this. I ran out of this. I was wondering, could the doctor, what the fuck it is, for the prescription, blah, 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 blah. Well, their system's pretty cool because it sends you a text that says, hey, this is automated. What did you call for? Blah, 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 blah. Well, I was already slightly irritated because I just left a fucking voicemail and now I'm texting this of what I wanted. And it's like, I see the point in why they have the system set up like that, but it was just a little bit of an irritant, whatever. So I re-fucking text everything that I said in the voicemail. And then it seems as though a human wrote me back and said, hey, I've sent this off to the doctor for a new authorization. And that was it. And I was like, okay, thank you. That was on Friday at noon. Today is Monday. It's noon. And I'm like, why haven't I gotten my authorization? Well, I wonder what's going on with that, right? So I go to stop at the orthopedics because I had a massage today. Well, they closed for 12 to 1 for lunch. Okay, fuck it. So I text back the thing and I'm like, just wondering like what's going on with this authorization. Did the doctor say yes? I took my last pill last night. If I run out and I don't take my pill tonight, I'm going to be in severe pain. And, that's what I wrote back to the robot or person on the other side. They write back, oh, did you call the pharmacy to see if your prescription had been, filled? See if they have it? Why the fuck would I call the pharmacy? I'm waiting on you to give the authorization. Why would I call the pharmacy? I'm first and foremost don't know if the doctor is going to approve the authorization. No, bitch. I did not call the fucking pharmacy because that is not logical. Pay attention to this energy. I did not call them a bitch in the text message, by the way. I wanted to, but I didn't. That's growth. Boom. So it's like, no, I didn't fucking call the pharmacy. There is nothing logical about that process. I ran out of prescription refills. I call the orthopedic doctor for the refills to be authorized. Why the fuck would I call the pharmacy? The pharmacy is showing my prescription at 0. Yeah? So why the fuck would I call them? Shouldn't you be the one texting me back saying that the authorization went through? So now I know to call the pharmacy? Why are you putting this on me? I was so irritated. I mean, it took me from like peaceful as fuck after my massage to, I swear to fucking God, I'm going to throat punch somebody. Now, this is part of my work though, because I know that we are all one. And I know that we are all pieces of the sum of the whole. And I know that when I am interacting with someone, that it is me interacting with their human selves, right? And so the work that I am doing is learning to keep that in mind as I am in these moments. I'm not fucking there yet, obviously. Now, I wasn't rude to them, but I was extremely direct, extremely, because someone dropped the ball at the orthopedic center, but then they wanted to put it on me like, well, did you call the pharmacy and see if the prescription was ready? Why the fuck would I do that, right? So that was an irritant for me because they didn't take ownership of like, oh yeah. And they were like, oh, we sent it yesterday. The doctor approved it yesterday. Where was my fucking automated text message then? You don't have the system where the doctor can hit a fuck button and it says in the system that this was done and da-da-da. You have 17 fucking menu options for authorizations, but we don't got it connected to that anywhere. Do you need me to come in and set that up for you? It'd be a hell of a lot easier for everyone else. Digressing. Didn't say any of that either. So I was like fucking lit by the time I got home. I was pissed. And I was talking to myself the whole time. This is so important, what I'm explaining to you here. I was talking to myself the whole time. Alicia, it's just them being human. It's okay. It's just humans being humans. Just keep going. Da-da-da-da. Recenter yourself. I even went... I blessed and released it. Got out of my car, put it on the charger. Yes, I have an electric car. We're not going to fucking talk about it. Come in the house and I'm like, still irritated. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got to move this energy. Actually, you don't got to. What are you going to do? You get to move this energy, right? How are you going to move this energy? Sitting in this bullshit for the rest of the day. It's challenge day. It's challenge week. You have a certain energy that you bring to challenge week. You have a certain energy that you bring to challenge days. You have a certain energy that is so important to you. How are you going to transmute this? I had intended to come home and read a book for my spirituality foundations class. and do the journaling work from that class. And then I was going to start work. Well, I did the journaling work, and then I created this really bomb ass fucking astrological planet overlay system, journal work, for myself. And I was like, okay, I'm going to print that. Oh, I want to answer those questions now. It's January 12th. And I came up with this idea today, and I wanted, I didn't get to set up my month. So I want to set up my month now. I want to create my intentions. I want to put my energy. So I changed what I was going to do, and I journaled through it all, and I didn't get to reading the book yet. But when I got done, I felt centered and within myself, right? Yeah. Self-regulation, regulating your nervous system, regulating your own emotions, right? So I did all of that. And sage the fuck out of myself multiple times a day. I lit multiple incense today. I actually did the root chakra when I came home because I was irritated. I did so many things. I put on oils that I created for myself and that I had from other places and I just did the damn thing, right? I put on grounding oil because I knew grounding was what my soul was calling for. So the reason why I'm saying this to you is because what you're about to learn here is not really just about business and money. The only reason why, I'm very transparent, the only reason why wealth is in anything I do is to get you to pay more attention than you would if I just said soul. And I'm totally straightforward with that. It's just literally it's not necessarily a bait and switch because I teach a lot of stuff that goes with money and aligning with your money and how to, I teach all of that. But really wealth is about 20% of what I do. Soul is 80% of what I do. And none of us are going to make it on earth to whenever our time is over at a level that feels good if I muddy it with the 20%. Okay. And so you'll find we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about wealth, but it's going to be this much because I'm working on reframing your mindset about how you view other people, circumstances, and things. And yes, it's the law of attraction. However, it's the law of attraction on steroids and verbalized in a little bit different of a way. We, as a race of humans, because that's the only race we have on Earth that we can all practically see. I mean, ETs come and visit us pretty regularly, but people freak the fuck out over that, right? If we would just hug them and love them and honor them, it would be amazing what we could do with them. Maybe we could actually collaborate and create some really amazing things. But instead we're running and screaming and freaking out and denying what we see. And then, that lowers the consciousness of the whole planet because people aren't seeing what's true. When really what's true is we're all one. It doesn't matter what galaxy or planet or wherever the fuck you're from. We're all one. We all have, systems. I mean, humans are a hell of a lot. Humans are sophisticated in ways that I believe that ETs aren't, but that's a whole other conversation. Here's my point. In different ways that ETs aren't. We are way more emotional and we're processing and we're logical and we have all different facets, right? And ETs come from love and light and connection. I mean, that's all they know is just love and light and connection. And they love the human experience because we get to feel everything. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'd really love to do that. And I love the idea of the ET experience because I'm like, God, I would love to just be love and not think about being love because it's quite the work for me, right? So why am I telling you this? I don't give a shit whether or not you believe in ETs. That doesn't matter. What I do care about whether or not you believe in, and that will decide whether or not you stay in my world or not, is energy. That everything is energy. Everything is energy. The only reason why you can see me right now on a box is because the energy vibrates at a specific frequency that it comes into matter, and it is so, right? You've manifested the computer that is in front of you and me being in front of you and, the house that you're in, the car that you drive, the things that are around you. You've manifested all the things that you see, right? Your mind creates your reality. I'm sure that you've heard that before. However, why it's important that you buy into everything is energy and we are all one is because if we don't come together, we're going to implode on this fucking earth. We are going to just combust, right? the oneness energy is going to help us all like be brighter and putting out our light and really coming together. So here on day one, here's what I want to give you is how can you look at other people and see that they're humans having a human experience, and your current judgment right now is you judging them on that human experience because you believe that they should be doing different things, operating different ways, showing up different ways. But should is a control form, right? That's why I was so irritated today, is because they should have let me know that the prescription that the doctor approved it, right? That's what they should have done to make my life easier, but they don't owe me anything, right? That's what I think they should have done, but they're thinking I should have called the fucking pharmacy, right? That's just the human life and process of moving that way. And so as you're learning these different things throughout this week, the universe is more than likely going to test you. Universe meaning divine source energy. As you're on a frequency of growth, the universe gives you opportunity to cement that growth. And what I'm sharing with you here is now putting you on a frequency of having those opportunities. And what you do with it is yours. If you choose to do nothing with it, Saturn will come back. And there is a point where Saturn will force you to face what needs to be faced in order for you to move. And I say force and need particularly because Saturn doesn't fuck around. Saturn is particular. Saturn is strong. Saturn is set. There isn't a lot of movement in Saturn. When Saturn comes into point, it's control. You will do this. You will do it now or else. That is Saturn energy, which we'll talk about. I think it's tomorrow. I don't know. We'll talk about it at some point this week, right? So take this information and start embodying. We're all humans having a human experience, and we're all connected as one through energy. Okay? Are you in for that? Yes? I want to know. I'm not talking about like God and Jesus and religion and any of those things. Just divine source energy. We're all connected through one. We are all one. We are all one of the same thing, right? That's my point. So if you're in for that, say yes in the comments. If you're not in for that, my world is not the place for you. Division creates shadows and wounds that are unnecessary. So the more we can unite, the less healing we have to do, the less healing there is to do for the bullshit. Pay attention to what I'm saying. The more that we unite, the less healing there is to do through the bullshit. Because as you unite, the bullshit becomes obsolete. Because you just understand that that's part of their path, it's part of their journey in this human experience. And yours is, part of your journey, part of your path, part of your human experience. And that we get to choose what that looks like, what that feels like, how we move, what, manifests in front of us, what we create in our life. And we all have responsibility for that. So right now in your life, if there are things that are ways that you don't want, change your thinking. So Anna, in my world, we do our best always. Always, always, always. Try equals fail, right? Do your best always. I want you to track back, Anna. If you look back anytime you said you were going to try to show up to a live, that you were going to try to show up to a challenge, that you were going to try to do something, you never do it, right? So you're either in or you're out. You're either going to do your best or you're not. This is for everyone. I don't do try. And the reason why I'm staunch on that is not about controlling you. It's about understanding what you're really saying. Anytime you tell yourself you're going to try and do something, you don't. You don't show up to the party. You don't stick to the exercise routine. You don't love better. You don't have more patience. None of it ever fucking works because try is a cop-out, so you don't have to make a commitment. That's just what it is. Try energy is fail energy. So do it or don't do it. Just be fucking honest with yourself, and that's for everyone. All right. So remember that your rising sign is not who you are at your core. It's just who you appear to be. And then that's not an appear to be as a facade. It's just a part of you and who you appear to be to the world, that outward personality. It's just a layer. So we're going to go through each of the rising signs, but I want you guys to drop in the comments, what is your rising sign? What is your rising sign? I am a Libra rising. Okay. So what's your rising sign? Let's go. I'm going to look through the comments and let's just get grooving. Crystal says, anyone who works with Alicia has to get rid of the word try from their vocabulary. And it is true. That is a control form, but it's a control form for your growth. And it's really for you. I could give a shit less. You can write try as much as you want. It's not going to hurt me. But at the end of the day, if you're trying and you don't get the result that you want, don't come crying to me that it didn't work because I told you so, because you were trying. All right. While you guys are commenting those, I'm going to go through some of the other comments. Crystal says, when I first came into Alicia's world, I actually started going through my own dark night of the soul, and tarot, it's called your tower moment. I call it a soul storm. It's just whatever you call the heaviest, most painful, most hardest times of your life. That's what it means. Crystal said she had lost everything. She felt like the biggest loser and failure in life. But when she went through what she needed to go through, her path completely changed and she's learned completely. And I'm working on a career change and building my own business. It's a big growth for me. Yay! Jessica says, it helps show you that the people that you're around, what they're going through, and that you're aware of how to, Jessica used the word handle them 100%. She's talking about going through the chart and putting people in your quality world in there and studying. It's not about handling them. It's about understanding and connecting with them. Watch your fucking words. If you use words like handle someone, look at how much control that is. Look at how much you're putting in the hands of controlling them, or in your hands of controlling them and what they do and what they don't do. Your birth chart or these apps, they're not about handling anyone. They're about understanding them and yourself better so that you can show up in unconditional love and forgiveness, peace, love, protection, safe space, understanding, connection, value, honor, and respect of yourself and other people. Always pay attention to your words, because when you use words like handle them and you study their chart, and then the way you interact with them doesn't get the result that you want, you're going to be frustrated with them. And who you should be frustrated with, or the more accurate person to be frustrated, is with yourself, believing that any amount of knowledge was going to help you control another person in any sort of way. The intention is oneness. The intention is love and light. The intention is peace, love, protection, safe space, understanding, connection, value, honor, and respect of yourself and other people. And that things are in the highest good for you as it is in the highest good for them, which is in the highest good for all, right? So thank you for using the word handle, Jessica, because this shit comes out so fast that we don't even realize what we're saying. But then when it's called forth, it's like, fuck. Ugh. Now, if you don't catch that and you have a word like that in your head and you use handle and that's how you go forth, subconsciously you will be working on controlling and handling them and maneuvering them and putting them in their places of where you want them to move. And you won't even realize you're doing it. It'll make you fucking crazy. It literally just depletes your energy. It's a way that we leak energy. Julie says she always listens more than once because sometimes you get stuck on one thing said and miss what came next. 100%. That's why I listen to the pattern app a lot. I mean, I listen to a lot of things that I listen to multiple times. 100%. Welcome to the American healthcare system. Thanks, Jessica. She says, congratulations, superstar. Great self-growth. Such a positive moment. Absolutely. Boom, boom, boom. Go, Joanne. Joanne is all in. Okay, so we've got Scorpio rising, Sagittarius rising, Leo rising. Obviously, I'm Libra rising. What's your rising sign? Get it shouted out in the chat box. And when I say your rising sign and you hear some of its attributes, I want you to just throw down in the chat which attributes connected with you as I say them. They can all be separate, comments. That's great. Again, that helps the algorithm. You can put them all in one comment and hit send. That's completely up to you. So if you're an Aries rising, bold, fast, action first, you've got pioneering energy. You approach business like a warrior. You launch fast, you move quickly. You're always first to market. That's the kind of energy that comes from Aries. It's that leadership, right? That warrior is out front and leading the charge. Taurus rising is steady, grounded, sensual, luxury focused. You approach business with variety, multiple offers, multiple niches. Excuse me, I went to the wrong. I was like, that doesn't even sound like a Taurus rising. You approach business with a slow build, quality over quantity energy. Okay, so important. Gemini rising, curious, multi-passionate, communicative, scattered, right? Scattered would be the shadow side. You approach business with variety, multiple offers, multiple niches, always pivoting. Now, the shadow side of always pivoting on a Gemini is if you're not in the energy of allowing things to take root and you're consistently pivoting like that, that's starting over. The light side of that is allowing things to take root. And when you're pivoting, it's because that root is set and it has either been used for what the intention was, or the root is so set that it's compounding the other actions that you're taking and the work that you're doing that comes from that. Okay. So again, when I get to your rising sign, shout out in the comments anything that connects with you. It can be separate comments, or it could be all in one comment. That is completely up to you. Okay, continuing through. Cancer rising, nurturing, protective, emotional. They're very relationship focused. You approach business through care. So you want to nurture your clients like family. That's beautiful. However, the shadow side of a Cancer rising would be taking responsibility for someone like they're your family when they're not. Why? Because not taking responsibility for, let me rephrase. Caring about the transformation of the person at the level that is theirs to care for. So Cancers will overstep, right? Wanting it more for them than they want it for themselves. Whatever it is, whoever they are, right? Cancer will do that. And the shadow wound side of that is the Cancer will be proving their worth through that work and that over-efforting. Again, shadow wound side. Leo rising, confidence, charismatic, performative, leader energy. You approach business with visibility. You want to be seen, celebrated, and in the spotlight. If you are in the shadow of Leo, then you're hiding behind the scenes and you're not really showing yourself, and you're not really, maybe like a royalty, or the way that a lion carries itself is just, I can't think of the freaking word today. Fuck balls. Massages on days that I work is rough, so I don't remember what the word is. But I'm showing you through like this luxury and this like beautiful type of energy. That's a Leo, right? But if you are in the shadow of that, you aren't showing that beauty. You aren't showing that spotlight. You aren't showing the charisma. You're hiding all of that, and you're shrinking yourself for, what you feel is palpable for the people around you. Virgo rising is detail-oriented, perfectionistic, service-driven, and analytical. You approach business with precision. Everything has to be perfect before you launch. So that's a good and a bad. Because if it isn't perfect, you don't want to launch it. But if you don't launch, you don't make money. So the shadow side of that is holding on to perfectionism instead of going, okay, as long as it passes the good enough, they get the information enough, I can refine it as time goes on. If the Virgo rising believes there's no space for refinement, they spend so much time in perfecting it that they never move. And that's where they start over and start over and start over and start over. And that's where the shadow comes in. So Libra rising, balanced, harmonious, diplomatic, right? Shadow side of that is people pleasing, putting everyone else at the forefront, managing everyone's emotions, doing everything they can to keep everyone happy, doing everything they can to make sure everyone else is feeling good. And when everyone else isn't happy and everyone isn't, balanced, and it doesn't feel perfectly good, what happens with Libra rising, and this is all in shadow, then they take that ownership of that, and they work harder to make it better. And they take it on as their own, even if it's not at someone else's. They definitely are doing more emotional efforting than the person or people are doing for themselves, right? So Libra's rising approach to business is wanting everyone to be happy and avoiding conflict at all costs. And so That's another shadow side, is avoiding conflict at all costs. If you're in that shadow of avoiding conflict, in my mind, conflict as a growth point, right, is how you grow. So without these moments of growth or quote unquote conflict, there's no way. There's no way to grow. Okay. Now, being diplomatic is good in a lot of ways. It's leadership, it's systematized, it's making things that are complicated simplistic. But when being diplomatic is bad is when a decision needs to be made. However, the Libra rising is like, well, what do you think? And what do you think? And what do you think? Because again, that Libra rising wants everyone to be happy. Scorpio rising is intense, transformational, private, and powerful. Private can be seen as secretive. So the harmony there and the light side of that is private when it's important and open when it's helpful, when it creates connection and growth. The shadow side of that Scorpio is being private and secretive all of the time, and then people really can't get a beat on them. And if someone can't get a beat on you, then they keep you at arm's length. And if they keep you at arm's length, they are more than likely not going to invest in you. They don't invest with you, then you don't have a business. You don't have a business, you feel like a failure. Okay. So you approach business with depth because you're not here for surface level anything. So a challenge with Scorpios, they could be that they want to go so deep. However, their messaging, their marketing, the people that they connect to, they're more surfacey. And so there's this disconnect that the Scorpio wants to go deeper, but didn't quite do the work for that match. And so then there's this mismatch, and that shadow side feels like this person's boring because they're not, deep enough, and I don't feel fulfilled, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I was just going to say something that would just cause confusion when it comes to planets and what's going on in the world. So you saw me go like that because I was like, no, we're wiping this off the table. We're staying focused here. Sagittarius rising is adventurous, optimistic, freedom-seeking, big picture. Freedom-seeking is great, but if there's no structure inside of that freedom, then the Sagittarius is all over the place all of the time because they want the freedom and they want the ability for the this and the that, and there's really no structure and systems that could be there, right? Jessica says, I'm feeling my shadow side lately, but he's like diplomatic and people-pleasing. Right? So keeping in mind with what comes up for you in this is calling you forth for that growth that we talked about earlier, and is also asking, the things that I'm sharing here is asking for you to step into that light as well, right? Because that light is what's going to be how you're going to be in service and what's going to transform the lives of the life of yourself and the people around you. So business-wise for Sagittarius, always thinking bigger, bolder, more. So the challenge is if you're always wanting more, if you're always thinking bigger, if you're always thinking bolder, then you're always in a future state, and the present, there's that culmination shadow again. There's not the environment to cultivate what it is that you want to create, because like, oh, I want more and bigger and this and the that and the da-da, and you have a bajillion ideas. Nothing is taking root, and so nothing is moving. Capricorn rising is structured, ambitious, disciplined, and long-term focused. So here we have this. If you're always thinking about the long term, what the fuck's going on now? So if a Capricorn's always looking at long term, and not actually taking a moment in the present, seeing, what is here now, analyzing, things that they have done and learning and growing from them, because they're just so future focused. Again, nothing takes root, nothing to hold on to, starting over. Capricorn approaches business like building an empire. Strategy, structure, climb the ladder, right? And so that's powerful, but a Capricorn shadow would be being too rigid, right? Rigidity, and really working on having some of the flow. So if they have Sagittarius in other parts of their chart, maybe 2nd, 6th, 8th, or 10th house, that would really help their business go far if they are a Capricorn rising, because that balances that out. It harmonizes it, right? Aquarius rising is innovative, unconventional, detached, humanitarian. If you are detached and you are in business, then again, we have this unapproachable, she doesn't really care, it doesn't really matter sort of energy. So it's great to be detached from the outcome. It's great to detach your emotions from business. It's will inhibit you if you are detaching in the spaces of connection, vulnerability, and really just stepping forward into the space of being a leader in your business, right? If you're detaching there, then people are like, huh, I don't know about her. I don't know. Something doesn't feel right. So it's being detached in the areas that are empowering and being attached in the areas that really connect you. Okay, so and humanitarian, right? That's huge for Aquarius period, but Aquarius rising, outreach and doing things and bringing people together and projects and how we can raise money and this and that. However, the shadow side of that would be just helping people and not charging them, or undercharging because, well, you just want to help people get better and and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's great. But we do live in a capitalist society, and until everybody comes together in the oneness and we, love thy neighbor, and we're fucking borrowing eggs and milk and stuff like that from each other, there's a level of humanitarianism that I think is extremely important in business. As I said at the beginning, value added is worth more than the price paid, right? That's a motto that I live by. That's why I have these things in my business where I leave it all out here on the field, and you get to decide, do you want to move forward in the soul money roadmap call? Or are you just going to stay where you're at and take what you got from the challenge, right? But I'm still leaving it here for you to make your next decision, because that's where I come from. That's where I'm in service. So I am an Aquarius moon. So emotionally, I operate like an Aquarius. And so these things for me, innovative, unconventional, detached, humanitarian, it's part of my emotional state. However, I am like, I'm going to be paid for it too. So I have this really beautiful, I like to say harmony, even though a Libra rising is balance. I don't do balance. I have this really beautiful harmony between what I charge and what I give away from the goodness of my heart. And one of my biggest struggles overall 13 years as a business coach has been listening to the outside instead of leading from the inside. Write that the fuck down, right? Leading from the outside instead of listening from the inside, or listening from the outside. That's it. Listening from the outside instead of leading from the inside. It doesn't matter how you do where you verbalize the listening or leading. They both fit in both places, right? But it's really about how are you leading yourself based on the way that you feel and what feels best for you, and fuck everyone else. How do you know, though, to lead from your soul and what's best for you if you haven't taken the time to understand yourself? And also, if you haven't taken the time to understand yourself, how do you know what you want from the people around you, from the relationships around you? Not what you fucking think you want, but what do you really want? What are you here for in your love relationships? What are you here to connect to in your love relationships, in your friendships, in your family dynamics? If you don't know that, you're like all over the fucking place, right? Spaghetti, just throwing it at the wall, seeing what fucking sticks, and seeing, oh yeah, that kind of worked, or that kind of feels good. Blah, blah, blah. But if you really knew, you could articulate that in a way that's so empowering. And if you knew what the people in your quality world were built for in love and relationships and communication and then you can really honor them in those places. I tend to fall in love with Geminis. I love DJ, quiet. DJ. I tend to love two of them right now, right? And the thing about it is, Jessica, I don't remember. Go back about 60 minutes into the replay and you'll have that, or someone else can throw it in the chat for you. If you guys got the leading statement that I made, or else you guys could do the replay at 60 minutes. Geminis are constantly thinking. They are in their mind people. They have a plethora of information that they are constantly running through. They go a million miles a minute in all things. They're hardly ever in their body. They tell stories for 45 fucking minutes. They move at the beat of their own drum. They are not in a fucking rush for anything, really. Everything really in a Gemini energy is just what they're doing, when they're doing, how they're doing it. And then, oh, by the way, check the story. And, it doesn't have anything to do with anything, but it actually really does. But if you don't wait until they actually get to the point of that, which is usually about 42 minutes in, then you never really find out. Well, as a Taurus, I feel I am, stable and grounded in those things, but I'm highly impatient. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck? Let's go. We don't need 45 fucking minute stories. Cut that down. But see, when I have that energy, I'm actually taking away from a core piece of who they are, right? So it's learning how to go off in my head and think about a million things and process things and do my own thing while they're talking. Because I can do three things at once. I can be thinking about how I feel, what I want to eat, processing things that are going on, and listening to a person talk all at the same time. So I'm not ignoring them. Let me make sure that this is clear. I'm not ignoring them. I'm just putting them in the background so I hear their voice and what they're saying while I'm thinking about these things, planning these things, whatever the fuck I'm doing. I'm not giving them my undivided attention. Why? Because I can't fucking stand the 45-minute story. It drives me batshit. But I also don't want to shut down something that is huge for them. Here's another layer of that. I'm a very fucking deep person. I mean, highly, highly deep. I don't give a fuck about how your day was. I want to know how your soul is feeling today. I want to know, what's your soul calling for today? Like, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you change about today? And how can I be a better partner? How can I be a better mom for you? Is there something that you feel as your mother, your friend, your daughter, your partner, that your soul is calling for in this relationship, in this partnership, in this energetic exchange that if I'm able to, that I could give? I would love to know. I want to say need so bad. So if you find me not speaking as fast, it's because my job isn't to fulfill someone else's needs. It's just them laying it out on the table and seeing how I feel about honoring that, right? And so asking these deeper questions. Well, did I just tell you that Geminis are in their head? Their brains move 1,000,000 miles a minute. They're processing information at lightning speed. Yeah. So that's not depth, is it? That's surfacey as fuck. Geminis are the most surfacey people that you will ever meet, whether it's fucking sun, whether it's their moon, whether it's their rising, whether it's their Venus, whether it's their Mercury, whether it's their Mars. Like, they're just surface level, logical people. Not much logic. They're all over the place. They're air. So I rephrase on logic at times, but they're all over the place, right? And so if I'm stable and I'm grounded, of course, that's why we match, and I'm deep and all of the things. That's another thing that could drive me crazy, right? And so one thing that it can be a blend of the energy that we talked about, that oneness is together. There's a harmony there, right? That Gemini is bringing me out of that depth into a more healthy state of depth. Because if you're always in depth, probably not good. You're always feeling, always processing, always connecting, always vulnerable, always at the lowest, like deepest levels, right? And then you've got this Gemini that's like most of the time clear the fuck up here. So between my depth and grounding and their high flying air, it can bring in that harmony at times where that energy is bringing them up, my energy is grounding them, and vice versa. And so what is my point in that? My point is understanding these things so that you have this kind of respect and honoring and flow with the people around you instead of control form with the people around you. And last but not least is Pisces rising. Dreamy, intuitive, spiritual, boundaryless. Being boundaryless can destroy a Pisces in a hot fucking second in any place that Pisces shows up in the chart. Right now we're talking rising, right? So outward personality. If you're boundaryless, you're saying fucking yes to everyone and everything in every way because you just want to help. You just want to be there. You just want to be connected. You just want to be loved. You just want to love. So I'll give and I'll do and so boundaryless is beautiful in a way in the Pisces rising because they grow and they learn and they transform and they move in their flow, right? And water sign, right? However, that boundaryless can fuck them over, pull them down so fucking fast that suicide is on their mind in a snap of a second. Because of what someone said to them, how someone treated them, how someone showed up in their show up. So then that other boundaryless can make the shadow side of that, they're editing and contorting and restricting and hiding who they really are from people because they found out that being themselves was painful, right? So that's when you start coming into the shadow side of Pisces. Now, in a business, they approach it with flow. They want it to feel mystical, magical, and aligned. Challenge with mystical and magical, there's hardly any structure there. So if you're a Pisces rising, your outward personality is all over the place and love and flow and all those things that I said. And when I said all over the place, it's not like air. It's not like all up here and you got to bring them down. They're just swimming to the beat of their own current, right? And wherever the current takes them, they flow to, and they can be taken away and around and through things that they did or did not agree to, that they are or are not paying attention to, that they want or don't want. So it's whether that's shadow or that's light, right? Okay. So we already dropped the rising sign, but I want to know from you on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being like, what the fuck is she talking about? And 10 being like, fuck yeah, I love this. I get this. I'm on beat with her. Where are you at on that scale from 1 to 10? Don't choose 5, lower to 4, or higher to 6. A 5 does not exist on my scale of 1 to 10 that I give. Because, why? Because humans like to be mediocre and average, believe it or fucking not, at the same time that they're striving to be the best and to prove and to earn. And so if there's a 5 on a scale, a human will choose a 5 to be lazy as fuck and not actually have to apply and see how they really feel, where they're really at. A 5 is such an easy way to get out of having to show, to get out of showing the fuck up for themselves. If I had a 5, I promise you, and you didn't know these things, if I allowed, and there is another control form, right? An intentional one, it's never going anywhere. If I allowed a 5 to be on the scale, 98% of people would choose 5, 5.5, right? I'm a little higher. No, show the fuck up for yourself. Feel in, get some self-fucking awareness going on, and ask, how do you feel? How am I doing? Where am I going? Is this aligned? 5 doesn't exist so that you actually know where the fuck you are. And one of the hardest moments on a scale is when you really feel like you're down the middle and you're really digging in to see just that fractional difference. I feel like I'm right down the middle. I could go either way. I'm indifferent, right? And when you're right down the middle and you go, am I a little higher? I don't know. Or am I lower? Actually, I'm a little higher. Boom, 6. Actually, I'm being really honest with myself. I'm just a little lower. Good, 4, done. Go. Do this with fucking everything. Do it with everything. How much capacity do I have? How much energy do I have? How much whatever the fuck. I talk about my audit your energy outputs. It's in the podcast. Crystal, go to soulfirepodcast.com, search for audit, and drop that energy audit podcast here. I want you to find the self-awareness one. Drop that one here too. And I want you to find the emotional intelligence one. Drop that one here too. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Energy audits, emotional intelligence, self-awareness. Gosh, I wish this thing did not tag everything. Self-awareness and emotional regulation. These 4 podcasts, I'd love to see you listen to those before you come back tomorrow. If not, I challenge you to do it throughout these next 4 days. 1 today, 1 Tuesday, 1 Wednesday, 1 Thursday. Okay. So these 4 podcast episodes are just fucking dynamite for exactly what we're talking about here. Why is it not on your homework? Why didn't I already know this? Why don't I already have the links? Because it came right fucking now. I do where my downloads come in. These are phenomenal episodes. Energy audits, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and emotional regulation. Boom. Done. Okay, Crystal, no worries. I'm loving this. Okay, so I'm right on line. 9, 10, 8, 9. Now, I know Joanne, Betty, and Jessica, you guys are high. You are also in my Soul Wealth Blueprint. So I love hearing Julie say a 9 as she's not in that. And generally when I'm teaching stuff, I notice, Julie, when I'm in the birth chart and astrology, you usually give me a lower rating. So this tells me I'm right on fucking point. And of course I am. How do I know that I am? Because I already set that intention. I've been praying for a week about the information that I give and how I give it to connect to you at the perfect level in the perfect way so you understand it perfectly. And here we are at very, very, very high ratings across the board. Woot. Okay, so we are here in day 1 of the wealth reset. We're talking all about your audits here. And we're going to get into your sun sign in just a minute. And we're going to be into Chiron and Saturn and things like that later this week. So one thing that I have for you is my soul money roadmap call. And I've already been talking about it, seeding it, pitching it this whole time. You can see how hard I'm working to offer you something for free. Now, somebody would say, well, that's just because you're going to sell me in it. I would love, and right now, I don't know. I mean, actually, besides Betty, I believe Joanne, Jessica, Julie, Crystal, all of you guys, and anybody else who is here live has been on what would be deemed some sort of call like this where I make an offer where we're one-on-one. And one thing you can always guarantee for me is value added is worth more than the price paid. I over fucking deliver. The pitch and the offer is this much of the whole fucking call. Why? Because the offer doesn't matter. If you feel aligned, if it feels like what I delivered there is powerful, if it feels like that's what your soul is calling you for, if this feels like what you've been looking for, I could offer you fucking anything on the back end. And as long as it aligned with what we did in that call, you would buy it. Crystal, make sure you put the titles with it so that they know which one is which, please. You would buy it, right? It isn't about that, okay? So the reason why I'm selling you so hard on the free Soul Money Roadmap call is because from that call, everything changes. And you can ask Joanne and Betty. Betty just met me like 2 months ago. I don't know what fucking month are we in. Right around maybe 6 weeks ago. So Betty's a great example to throw down here in this chat what her Soul Money Roadmap call was. Like, this call is pivotal for your soul alignment and your wealth alignment. So I've pitched the fuck out of it. It's free. If you don't sign up for it, then it wasn't meant for you. And that's cool too, right? So free Soul Money Roadmap call, sign up. Here's the thing. I only have 12 spots available over 2 weeks. I'm keeping my schedule extremely tight and in honor, value, honor, and respect of myself and my energy outputs and inputs and what I have to give. So no more spots are going to be opened up. So we have Wednesday and Thursday of next week, and then the 28th and 29th. Obviously, only next week is open. If you have not done a Soul Money Roadmap call, this is your time to jump in and do that because it sets a foundation for your soul and wealth alignment like nothing else you have ever experienced, okay? So you'll be able to take the things that you learn in this challenge, and then we'll look at your mini money birth chart reading and your birth chart. We overlay the two. I show you your gaps, and we build out your roadmap. This 90 minutes will fly by. You won't even realize you were on a call for 90 minutes. It is so powerful. You're so excited. You're so lit up because everything actually makes sense for once. You're not attempting to go, okay, how does that fit for my business? How do I make that work? I mean, parts of that are good. I think I could do that. That does kind of sound like what I'm looking for. No, it isn't like that because it's exactly aligned with your birth chart. So it's exactly aligned with what you are here for in the work that you are here and meant to do, in the way that you're meant to do it, in a way that aligns with your soul and lights you the fuck up. It's your design. It's not me doing it. It's all written in the stars, literally. Betty says, this call was so good. It told me things about myself that although I knew, it blew my mind. See, Betty knew it, but I didn't. Right? So how would I have that information? I do no research on you people before I get on a call. I don't have fucking time for that. If you've seen my life, I run my mom's marketing. I run a marketing for Spiritual Center. I run my entire business and I have a million fucking things on my plate. I'm studying to become a prayer practitioner through the oneness and universal energy and law of attraction. And I am in a mystic school for witchy shit and learning like herbals and spells and shit like that. And then I'm doing ritual. Like I got so much shit going on. I don't have time to research you, right? So I need you to know that that's not where it comes from. It all comes from intuition, utilizing the birth chart, and then my whole journey of my life. If you would like to know more about my life, basically my memoir, but also be learning how to grow and evolve and transform, that's the soulfirepodcast.com. That's all there. Okay, so the link for the Soul Money Roadmap is in the chat. It's also in the description. Okay, here we go. Into sun sign now. We're going to blaze through this. I'm going to do my best to keep these calls, 90 minutes to 2 hours. Tomorrow's call will be right at 90 minutes because I go into my class, my spiritual class after this. And I operate best with a break in between output and input and just centering and resetting my energy to the best of my ability. Okay. If you want to know how I do that, that's the energy audit, your energy outputs, inputs, whatever the fuck podcast that Crystal puts here. It's that one. Okay. You'll learn how to do it in an instant. And I'm literally driving while it's recording, and shit happens in that podcast episode. And it's like live in the moment of how, oh, it's so cool. I love that episode. Even though I almost edited it out and changed things, I didn't. It's literally raw, real. You can even hear the road a little bit in the background. Like, who cares? But it's cool. Okay. So let's talk about your sun sign. So your sun sign is where the sun is located at the moment that you're born. This is what most people know as their zodiac sign, right? Now, your sun sign is your core identity, but in esoteric astrology, it's also what holds the knowledge and the lessons of your past lifetimes for you to utilize in this lifetime. Okay. Crystal, what's the first one you put down? Hopefully you can edit your comment. I don't think I can. I don't know what the first one was that you put down. But anyways, I'm going to keep going. I have too much to cover. So think of your sun sign as your soul's design for healing, for building wealth, and for holding you through this lifetime that you're in right now in this human body. Okay. If you don't believe in reincarnation, if you don't believe in multiple lifetimes, then your sun sign's probably not going to make much sense, because it's holding you in this carnation based off of past carnations, lessons, and growth and things that you had. That's why you incarnated at that time with the sun on the horizon at that time, is because you were coming with this information, but to learn what the rest of your chart says. Your North Node is what you're here to learn. Your Chiron is what you're here to heal. There's so much here. Okay. So here's where most people go wrong. You build your business from the shadow of your rising and your sun, because you were taught along the way, you were indoctrinated based on this lifetime that we live in the last probably, I don't know, 400 or 500 years, these indoctrination, quote unquote, camps, which are school, and these mindsets and these belief systems. And we were taught to fear, and we were taught to judge, and we were taught to control, and we were taught to really be selfish a lot throughout these systems, right? And so when you're building your business, when you are leading your life, you're generally doing it from your shadow, because you're also taught that who you are is too much to hold for other people, or can be. And if it is, then it's your job to become palatable, right? To shrink down, to be able to fit into a box or a container that makes sense to other people. And in my world, we don't do that, because this is why your foundation cracks. So your sun sign. So an Aries sun is here to build through very bold action, courage, and pioneering new paths. Your soul craves speed and initiation. So Aries sun is speed and initiation. Taurus sun. Now, I want you to write down the 2 words that I give you for your sun sign. So for Aries, it's speed and initiation. When I say write down, I mean drop it in the chat so we can keep going with the comments. Okay. Okay, the first one was the energy audit. Okay, first link in the chat is the energy audit. So great. Yes, Crystal. Thank you for that. Crystal says, if you don't catch the link or you can't see the comment, shoot her a DM on Facebook. She'll get it for you, okay? She works with me. I'm grooming her. I say grooming. I don't know. That's probably the wrong phrasing, Crystal. I hope you're good with that. I am instilling in her the skills, the philosophies, and the energies of being the president of my company in a really badass, soulful, flowy way. So feel free to send her a message and ask her any questions. And soon she'll have her own Crystal Power Coach Alicia Facebook. But for now, here's where we're at. So Aries, speed initiation. Taurus, you're here to build through grounded pleasure, sensuality, and slow accumulation. Your soul craves stability, and beauty. So I'm born on April 22nd, and the signs change usually on the 22nd, sometimes on the 20th or 21st. And I really identify a hell of a lot more with an Aries sun. Speed and initiation fits me well more than stability and beauty. I do want stability, and I want it to feel and look good, but I'm well more about speed and initiation than I am about stability and beauty. Like, we'll figure it out later on, right? But anyways, so Taurus, stability and beauty. Gemini sun. So like I said, throw down in the comments the 2 words that match your sun sign. Aries is speed and initiation. Taurus is stability and beauty. So Gemini sun, you're here to build through communication, curiosity, and variety. Your soul craves learning and connection. Gemini sun is learning and connection. Cancer sun, you're here to build through emotional depth, nurturing, and creating safe spaces. Your soul craves family and roots. Okay, Cancer is family and roots. Your Leo sun, you're here to build through creative self-expression, leadership, and celebration. Your soul craves recognition and joy. Recognition and joy for Leo sun. Virgo sun, you're here to build through service, precision, and devotional work. Your soul craves perfection and usefulness. So Virgo, perfection and usefulness. Libra sun, you're here to build through partnership, beauty, and balance. Your soul craves harmony and collaboration. Harmony and collaboration is the Libra sun. Scorpio sun, you're here to build through transformation, depth, and power. Your soul craves intensity and truth. Okay, intensity and truth for Scorpio sun. Sagittarius sun, you're here to build through wisdom, adventure, and expansion. Your soul craves mastery and respect. Your soul craves freedom and meaning. So Sagittarius sun is freedom and meaning. Capricorn sun, you're here to build through discipline, ambition, and legacy. Your soul craves mastery and respect. Capricorn sun is mastery and respect. Aquarius sun, you're here to build through innovation, revolution, and humanitarian impact. So your soul craves change and progress. So Aquarius sun, change and progress. Your Pisces sun, you're here to build through intuition, compassion, and spiritual connection. Your soul craves oneness and flow. Pisces sun, oneness and flow. Okay. So throw down your 2 words and then do another comment, keeping the algorithm moving. Do another comment with what your sun sign is. Now, here's where the magic happens, or where the crack happens. If you build from only your rising, or you build from only your sun, and or you do it through the shadow instead of the light, you've got cracks all over the place. The intention is to harmonize the growth with the light of your rising and your sun, and harmonize how they work together in the building of your business, right? So how you're building it and how you show up, harmonizing the light, like I said, with the growth through the 2 signs. And now you have a great foundation of energy for how you're going to build your business. So the gap in that is the misalignment. Okay. And like I said, where the foundation cracks. So let's say you're a Gemini rising. You're curious, you're multi-passionate, you're variety seeking, but your sun is in Virgo that's detail-oriented, perfectionistic, and service-focused. You've got a Gemini that's like, woo, air and flow and this and that and here and there and and they're all over the place. Now, Geminis lead themselves in these places and they choose, different than Pisces. Pisces are usually being led. That's where the water versus the air comes in, right? So the Gemini is choosing to be all over the place, but if their sun is in Virgo and it's detail oriented, that's earth, that's grounded, that's stable. And so if you're in the shadow or the growth part of either of those signs, they will be conflicting with each other. Your work is the harmony of the 2, right? The blending of the 2, because they both work together. If the Gemini is airy-fairy and the Virgo is grounded earth, the 2 of them are beautiful in the likeness of them. Okay. So your rising sign would approach for the Gemini would be to launch multiple offers, pivot consistently, and try new things on a regular basis, keeping it light and fun. And your sun sign truth is you need one thing to perfect. You need to go deep into service, and you need precision and devotion. So if you're a Gemini rising and a sun in Virgo, you want to build either an offer with a variety of aspects to it that give you the variety, or build a core, deep, stable offer that really speaks to your rising while layering in many offers that you can do. So maybe you've got a launch of your main program 4 times a year, And then the other 8 times a year, you've got mini rapid fire offers, things that you create. It helps with the creativity, the communication, the knowledge, and all the things. And so you've got the stability offer for the recurring income, and you've got the, other 8 offers that you're putting in there that gives you that dopamine hit, right? Yeah, absolutely. So if these are disharmonized, right, then you exhaust yourself trying to keep up with your Gemini rising energy when your Virgo sun is begging you to slow down and begging you to pick one thing and perfect it. So your foundation cracks because you're forcing variety while your soul craves focus. The work, like I said, is harmonizing the two. Or let's say you're a Libra rising and you've got people-pleasing, harmony-seeking, diplomatic, but your sun is in Aries, bold, direct, pioneering. So your rising sign approaches, you make everyone happy, you avoid conflict, you build consensus, you keep things balanced. But your sun sign truth is you need to lead and you need to be bold and you need to take action first and ask for permission later, like you're doing the damn thing. So if they are not harmonized, you exhaust yourself trying to keep everyone happy when your Aries sun wants to burn it all down and build something new. So your foundation cracks because you're forcing the harmony when your soul craves the fire. So the blend is fire and harmony. Making sense? Yes, yes. Shout out in the comments. This is making sense. Or like mine, the Libra rising, balanced, harmonious, people-pleasing. My sun in Taurus, grounded, soul build, pleasure-driven. For years, I built my business in the shadow of the Libra with, lightness coming through, of course. And it was very reactive. And I was always making sure that everyone was comfortable. I would pivot to keep the peace. And I would shrink myself to be likable and palatable, right? And what would happen in that is that my Taurus side of me was screaming for slow, steady, grounded wealth creation in my authenticity. If you think of a bull is more authentic than anything, right? Than any of the archetypes of the zodiac. A bull is very, 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 very grounded. Or not very, very grounded, very them. They don't give a fuck about anyone or anything else. It's where they're going. It's what they're doing. It's how they're doing it. And you can't stop them. Really. You can't. I mean, yes, you can corral them back into the fucking cage. But if you've ever watched bull riding and things like that, if they don't want to go, some crazy shit fucking happens, right? They're actually deciding to go back in the cage because they're realizing that their work is done. But if they don't decide to, crazy shit happens because nothing moves a bull except for the bull deciding itself. But when I finally aligned my business, that now where I'm at now, the slow, the sensual, the grounded, the pleasure focus, then we've got the foundation held. Then I can also layer in the front end of, yes, wanting to be there and to help and to give what people are looking for, while also honoring the truth of who I am and how I show up and how I do what I do. So I want you to look at your rising sign and your sun sign and see if you can see the gap. Can you see where you're building from the growth point, or what we call, or we're calling it the growth points, but it's the shadow or wound side? Can you see how you have built from that point, or how you are building from that point? Instead of blending the light of the two, the lightness of the two. So what do you feel like that gap is? I'd love to have you shout that out in the comments. What do you feel like your gap is between your sun sign and your rising sign? What's going on there for you based on what you've learned here? And then we are going to do a takeaway. Then we're going to do your homework, and then we're going to close out. Yeah, I want to blaze the trail, yet go with the flow. You want to be taken where you're led and just let it fucking be, and love and beauty and magic and spirituality, right? While at the same time, let's go, let's fucking do. Yeah, I could do this, I could do that. Oh, that's bomb. That would be awesome. I could build this and I could do that. And then it's just like, we're not fucking doing that. Your fish is like off socializing in a school while your Aries rising is just screaming for blazing trails and creating bomb ass things and taking bold action. And so it's like, how can you harmonize taking the bold action while allowing yourself to be led in that spirituality and that magicalness to have that free flow? It's like literally free flowing the blaze of the direction of where you want to go. So today we talked about your rising sign, how you've been approaching business, the shadow and the light of it, your sun sign, who you are actually at your core, and the held memories from your past carnations and your truth. And then the gap between the two, and that's where the foundation is cracked, or where you're using and operating in the shadow sides of both and the wounds of both, believing you're going to create something amazing in the center. And that's just not how it works. I mean, you might create something in the center that is amazing. However, you more than likely will burn it to the ground, or you won't stay consistent, or one's competing with the other and you're in the middle feeling like a failure and like it's your fault. But the truth is, you're just not paying attention to what your soul blueprint is and what you're here for and how you are built to do that work. Like, this is a lot of work and effort. Not only is astrology a very minimal part of anything that I do in my mind and how I operate, so I am thinking very hard to recall all the information and the studying I'm currently doing and have done for the last few years through astrology. I'm also pulling in my soul healing and the healing that I've been doing and helping people do for 31 years, almost 32 years of my life since I was 10 years old. But also I'm working on phrasing things positively and removing control form as an automatic default mode. That's a lot of energy. That is a lot of effort. That is a lot of output. So although I've used the energy that I have for the day, and I'm at 32% at this point, 32% is my power saving mode. I do not wait till my battery gets to 20, because 20 is a slippery slope to burning everything down. So 32% is where I hold and I pour into myself. So as I'm exiting this session, which if you haven't, even if you have, listen to the Energy Outputs podcast. It will help you a fuck ton. Like I said, even if you have listened to it, listen to it again and again and again and again and again. It's phenomenal. So at a 32% energy level at the end of this session, my personal rule is input must come next. Input to charge myself a little higher. Why? Because at 32%, I only have the energy to give to myself, which means I don't have the energy to love on my partners, my children, show up, talk to them, be awesome, hear a challenge, I don't have none of that shit. I don't have it in me. So if I exit here and someone attempts to take more of my 32% energy, my boundary for myself is, hey, I love you. I want to hear this. I want to be fully present with you. Right now, my capacity is at fucking max. So I'm going to go charge up and then I'll be ready for you. How about we meet in an hour? So I'll leave this session and I'll give nothing to no one except for myself. Right now, I'm going straight into input. Knowing this is so powerful. I do want to know, what resonated with your soul at the, like, what's the thing that was just like, fucking A, this is brilliant. This I love. This really, really, really spoke to me. What is that? What's soul resonant from this today? How about learning to navigate from your soul and honoring the shadows? How about that? How about coming from that perspective, right? Oh, I have one more thing. Oh, I love that you said overwhelmed. So I have one more thing that I will have you guys put in the chat too. So I'm asking for what resonated with your soul. Like, what did you really love about this? What was like that thing that you're connecting with and like taking forward? I know there was a lot of power here and it's like, oh my God, the whole fucking thing. I get that. There is something that is really soul resonant for you though. And that's just vibrating at a really powerful level for you inside. And that's also going to be the thing. Leave the pig alone. Ugh. That's also going to be the thing. That resonance right now is going to be the thing that grabs hold and roots in you, and that leads you from this moment into your soul wealth alignment. It's coming right now. So whatever that thing is that rooted in you, we want you to write it in the chat, because this is your North Star for not only the rest of this challenge, also for the light that's shining and where you move from here. Okay. After you drop that soul resonance, I would love for you to share, what is your intention for this challenge? Phrase it positively, powerfully, and specifically. Okay. What is your intention for this challenge for the rest of this week? Phrase it positively. What did I say? Powerfully and intention. Phrase it positively, powerfully, and specific. I don't remember anything I say. Rephrase. I don't remember what I said. Positively, powerfully, and specific. Yes, that's what I'm going with. Okay. So, what is your intention for the rest of this challenge? That is how we are going to close this sacred circle, is with your intention for the rest of this challenge. So important. Good, Crystal, I'm so glad that that resonated with you. Oh, I want to talk about Jessica's statement. Refuel your levels before you are overwhelmed. So what will I call her? My mystic oracle, my mystic leader, she says whelmed. She doesn't say overwhelmed. She doesn't say underwhelmed. She says whelmed. And I love that, because instead of defining it as over or under, it's just whelmed. Your definition of that is what gives it the meaning that takes hold inside of you. If you say, I'm overwhelmed, then you're going to be overwhelmed. However, if you say, I am whelmed, you now have space to say, okay, what is my battery percentage at? I think I'm at 33%. Okay, that makes sense while you're feeling a level of whelmed. So what is your soul asking for you to give it at this moment, right? And then you can move. But overwhelmed is like a collapse point. Underwhelmed is a boring point, but whelmed gives just a set point for you to move. And I fucking love that. So I'm working on replacing overwhelmed with whelmed, because here's the thing. I've said this for years inside of my soul, my Shift Happens program. Nothing has meaning except for the meaning that you give it. It's the context of the container of your life and where you're at right now, whether it's with your partner, your kids, or whatever the context of that relational container is, you are giving it that context. You are giving it that meaning. So, when they say that being overwhelmed is a choice, it's true, because you're defining if it's over, if it's under, or how that feels. And so I love the layering the battery percentage in there, because instead of me defining this as, I'm depleted when I get off this session, it's like, okay, I'm at 32% battery level, time for me to charge. Difference than depleted. I tend to feel depleted at 20%. And I will usually say I'm depleted at 20% and I have nothing left to give. However, I'm working on rephrasing that from this moment, because that just came up in my mind. It's like, listen, I'm at 20% battery. I only have the time, energy, and attention to give myself right now. And I'm not sure if I will be able to give you any for the rest of this day, period. Then I go into my space, do my work. And if I can, integrate with the society of my house that same day, then I will. And if my soul says, oh no, love, you're on, we're staying in this vibration. You need, we're calling for this now, then I stay there. I send the text message that says, I'm staying alone tonight. I love you. I will see you tomorrow. I love having my own room, by the way. I have my own room so that when my soul calls for that space, I have that space. I used to think people who don't stay in the same room, like, how do you, like, that's crazy or whatever, like in a relationship and, judgment, right? And now that I have my own room, it is literally mine. It's decorated my way. It's all the things. I absolutely love it because I have a space to recharge that only has my energy, like has the majority of my energy in it. And if someone else's energy has been there, I've saged so many times in one day, their fucking energy is gone, right? However, if you allow someone to reintroduce to your space or you bring someone into your space before you are able to charge to a level and feel at a level that you have any energy to give, there will usually be some sort of disruption, eruption, or collapse in that. And it will usually be you who caused it because they said something that you didn't have the capacity to hold and it spiraled. However, if you had a higher energy, battery percentage and they said or did something, you would be able to come from it at a different angle, be more understanding with it, see different perspective because you had more charge to output. Crazy to think about. I've been teaching you some shit today. Crystal, that finding the harmony between my sun and my rising is going to be key to my success. Jessica, I love honoring. Boom. Betty says, my soul loves the adventure of a Sagittarius and knowing to pay attention to the people-pleasing part of me. Julie's takeaway is my rising words because I see that in me now. See how she verbalized that? I see that in me now. So just coming to this challenge helps her see that in her now. So before this challenge, she didn't recognize that in herself. She didn't recognize that that's what she was doing or operating. And now that she recognizes that, she can show up differently for herself if she so chooses to. Joanne, what resonated with her, is it good or growth? Boom! I'm so grateful someone chose that one. Is it good or is it growth? That is the perception of a human mind lens that you are wearing. If you had a lens of positivity and high energy and high frequency and power and love and light and peace, it would be good or growth, not good or bad. And there are some crazy things that happen in this world that you want to label as bad. However, they're an opportunity for growth. And it's just up to the people who are in those containers to take that opportunity or not for that growth. And if they don't, it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it what is, right? The only way something can be bad is if you define it as so, the context and the container. Nothing has meaning except for the meaning I give it. Remember that I told you that. Nothing has meaning except for the meaning I give it. Nothing has meaning except for the meaning I give it. Fuck the Twillo Orthopedics. They're lazy as fuck. They didn't do their job. That's the meaning I gave it. No. There was a process to this that I didn't realize was the process. And now I know the process, so I've grown. Done. Right? Betty's intention. I am becoming more of me through the eyes of my soul and embracing all that I don't already know. Love it. Jessica, my intention is to work through what my soul needs to help me grow and build. How about honor? Honor what your soul is asking for to help you grow and build. Honor what your soul is asking for to help you grow and build. Where's our other intentions? What's your intention for this challenge? I am becoming. I am. How about we remove becoming? I am more of me through the eyes of my soul and embodying all that I learned. That's how I'd upgrade yours, Betty. I am more of me through the eyes of my soul and in embodying all that I learn. Boom. That's what I read. You guys do whatever you want. I'll always upgrade your intentions. Not because they're wrong or bad or you have to have them a certain way. However, because the universe responds by law to the way things are verbalized, positively, powerfully, and specific. So if there's an upgrade that I can offer you to your intention or whatever it is, I'm going to do that for you. And you get to decide if you want to take it or leave it, right? The more positive, powerful, and specific you are, the higher the chance of whatever you are intending actually manifests for you, that actually is created in your reality. The more ambiguous it is and light that it is, the chances of it coming to fruition are very low, because the universe only understands positive, powerful, and specific. Well, in creation, if you want to create it, it understands the other side too. And that's where the growth will come, right? All right, so your homework, if you haven't already, read about your rising sign and sun signs, and then do a separate post in the Facebook group on what resonates with you. I highly recommend you, either you can do that in the Horos app because they're both there, or you can listen in the Pattern app, which is really powerful too. And in the Pattern app, you can also see the text of it. They have not the summary, but the transcript of everything that she says audibly. I'll usually click play and then go to the transcript and read it, so my mind, it beds it more. 2, you're going to pull your Chiron placement from your birth chart, and we're going to dive in that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then 3, you will comment on today's homework post or today's replay post with your biggest aha moment from today's session. So tomorrow is where we're going to be uncovering your foundation that keeps cracking, why you keep building from the trauma, from the wounds, from the shadow, instead of the truth and your front end persona. And we're going to root. Well, tomorrow is like a root level. This is going to be strong for foundation. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's the work you're here to do to heal. And it's the work you chose to heal in this lifetime. Your rising is, rephrase, your north node in your birth chart is your North Star, and what you're here to alchemize. Is it no surprise that my North Node is in Gemini? If you've been in my world for a long time, that's funny, right? I'm here to alchemize and understand this airy-fairy, communicative, thinking, logical-minded person, soul, archetype. There we go. Archetype, right? And then I don't remember what my Chiron is off the top of my head. So I'm here to heal this so I can achieve this. If it's not healed, you're more than likely want to achieve it, because this thing that you need to heal will be holding you back from what you're here to do and what you're here to achieve. And when you get all of this and you understand how they all come together, not on a masterful level, but just on a basic, your life starts to change. So I'm going to issue you a challenge, take it or leave it. Leaving this session, start verbalizing the things that you want instead of verbalizing the things that you don't want. Not no, won't, can't, quit, blah, 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 blah. Do your best to remove that from your vocabulary. And when it pops up, as you've seen me doing throughout this entire training, rephrase it into the power you are saying you want. I don't want my business to fail again. I want a successful business that pays me $30,000 plus per month in recurring revenue. One is specific, positive, and powerful. The other one is calling in exactly what you don't want, right? So my challenge to you for the whole week and beyond is to start declaring what it is you do want in conversations with yourself, in your journaling, and with other people. And when you find yourself using just the word not, that is your sign. Not, can't, or unable are 3 words that are calling forth a rephrase. Not, can't, unable are 3 words that are calling forth the rephrase. So tomorrow we'll go into your wounded healer. Julie's intention is to learn, listen, and absorb all this week brings to me. Boom, and so it is. Joanne's intention, embracing change and expanding a new version of myself. Boom, and so it is. Julie says, I love this challenge. It's bringing all of my chart together and how they work with each other. Boom, 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 boom. So my intention was for this to connect with you in a way that you just understood, even if you haven't really done a lot of this work, or even if you have, and to understand this from a different perspective and understand things that are going on inside of you. I actually, inside of my Soul Wealth Blueprint program, that is my year-long program, all of my clients are this week, second week of the month, on any of the month that I do challenges, the schedule in my Soul Wealth Blueprint is open for all of the people in that program to come to these challenges, because I know how I deliver in them. And all it does is just layer the work and the transformation that they're doing to build their soul wealth alignment. Why would I have my clients come to something that I'm offering for free? Because at the level that I deliver it, it's worth over $1,000 plus, right? That's how you know you've created something fucking phenomenal, is when you're inviting people who have paid you a good chunk of cash into something that you're offering for free. And it becomes, this is a staple in my teachings and how I do things. And so I want to remind everybody, I'm not an astrologist. Not as clear there. I'm not an astrologist. I am a soul astrologist. All I'm doing is helping you bridge the gap between soul healing and your birth chart together, so that you understand yourself and the people in your quality world better, so that you can align to those things, so you can build your wealth. 80% soul healing, 20% wealth building. So I know that my intention for today was manifested perfectly in divine order and in soul timing. It worked out exactly the way it was meant to. I'm so grateful to be here. I've loved doing this with you. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's Chiron's Wounded Healer and what that's all about, and the energy that that brings. So my last thing that I want to say, which is again not part of your homework, is if you're not starting every day with prayer, rephrase, starting every day with prayer is going to supercharge every single fucking thing you want to create. I am calling you to praying to divine source energy. That's it. That's all. Divine source energy, the energy of the universe. Today, I'm grateful for you for, I'm grateful for this for, I'm grateful for that for, I'm grateful for that for. And I ask of you this, and to help me with this energy, help me embody this energy, help me think differently in this way by accepting, understanding, loving, forgiving, whatever it is. You're asking the universe to give you enlightenment in an area that will help you grow. If you think of prayer as a spoken manifestation, a spoken intention that's grouped together, it's going to be powerful. I'd love to see what happens. If you're not praying every day and you start praying every day, I'd love to see what happens for you and what shifts for you. The only other suggestion I would have with that is to pray right when you wake up. Right when you wake up, preferably before you go pee, right when you wake up. They're long prayers. They're all over the place. It's in that liminal space when you're not ready to get out of bed and you're snoozing the alarm or you're waiting to get up. Pray there. It's the most powerful place because your logical mind has not kicked in yet. I want to say thank you so much for coming into this container, holding this space, and just being here. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. If there's anybody that you believe should believe this will help and will support in their journey and what they're doing, even if you're not even really sure, but a name comes to mind, I would love it if you would share it, because that's what this is about, right? Oneness, all coming together. Remember that you're worth it. You are always worth it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm Power Coach Alicia. Bye.